Good afternoon, friends, followers, channel members. How are we all this evening? So after today's daytime flight up to Edinburgh, the one of our real ops flights, tonight we've got something a little bit different for you, and who knows how this will go. But this is a test flight for FlyByWire. If it's the first time joining, you may not be aware that I'm one of the QA testers for FlyByWire. Very privileged to do that and check out all the fantastic stuff that the FlyByWire team do. On this particular addition to the dev build, we're checking out basically new gear and flap drag effects which they've added. Now realistically we shouldn't see anything too drastic, but what we want to ensure happens, or rather doesn't happen, is that anything is broken. So that's the whole point of these test flights that we have to do. And in order to make sure that everything works correctly, we need to perform a full test and a full flight. So we'll be doing it as realistically as possible. So as real ops as we wish this evening, to make sure that things all work well and good. So where are we? We're at Brasilia, and we're off to Rio de Janeiro, which is really exciting for me personally. I don't think I know I have never been here in Brasilia in real life or in any simulator, and I have never landed at Rio de Janeiro in real life or in the simulator. The landing at Rio de Janeiro is stressful, and I've not practiced it. I've never done it before, so we're basically going to cock this up together, guys, and see how this goes. That's why we're most certainly not doing a real ops flight there. So a good evening to every one of you that is already in the chat. Good evening, Wayne, Lucas, Christian, and Dark Fury. Good to see you as well, all our channel members. And TF Plays, Anish, LGM Lambs, Marcha, and who else we got? Pilot Pat, good evening. Tim Elson, hope you're well. York, Kurt, thank you for joining us. Ghostfire and Apo the Gamer as well. Great to see you all here. Danny, yeah, something very different to Edinburgh, although the weather might be the same. Who knows? Right, well, we should perhaps look at getting started then. Flight time is about 1 hour 20 minutes. Andy Bandy, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Hope to see you on more flights in the future. Dave Butler and Daniel Foster, hello to you guys as well. Right, well, I can see the jetway is now making its way towards the aircraft. It's going to be one of these backwards ones, isn't it? It's coming at the right-hand front. That's not correct, but hey ho, just dissect the ground power unit. And Martin Skintalot, and I love the name, and H Letsphere, good evening to you as well. Well, the power, the GPU is just going to have to navigate his way around the jetway there, then, isn't he? Let's get sure we've got some catering, and of course we want to make sure that all your luggage is on board as well. But catering, very, very important. We want some beer on this flight. Okay, guys, let's start setting up. And for those of you that wants to have a look at the operational flight plan for this evening, we'll just have a look. Oh, thanks, Danny, for pointing that out. That's completely rubbish, isn't it? Shall I change that? We're not in Canada. So Sierra Bravo Romeo to Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet. That's where we should be flying to. That's where we are flying to. And if anyone wants a copy of the operational flight plan to follow along, I've just popped that in the YouTube chat for you. There it is. Good evening, Danny. Hope you're well. Okay, ready to fly. HD. Good evening. What's that? Have you been on Google Translate? Oh, FlyPad. Let's get you turned on. And look at this. Who on earth? Who's docking the jetway this evening? Terrible. Get the batteries on. GPU is already in place. And as I say, even though it's a test flight, we can be a little bit relaxed about a few things, but essentially we've still got to test everything as realistic as we can. So whilst HD's ruler won't be out, there are still things that we want to do. Ooh, but turning all the emergency lights on is not one of them. So make sure we get the 3 clicks, then we'll do the engine test. Whilst we're doing that, let's also have a look and get the company username in there. That's that sorted. Get the dashboard, pull that through. There we are. HD, have a look at the Navigraph charts for this approach and then wish us luck. It's not going to be by the book. I don't think. I don't even think the weather's very good, so God knows what will happen when we get there. There we go, there's the clicks. Let's do the fire test. So, engine 1, engine 2, and APU. All is good. Let's have a look at fuel requirements. Well, let's factor in for a couple of go-arounds, shall we? So about just under 6.5 tons, and if we scroll down, find the weather. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, that's a lot of Sigmets. Destination, and we've currently got 100. So winds are nice and light. Scatter 2,500. Becoming so the winds again, they're okay, but you've obviously got the potential of thunderstorm clouds and reduced visibility as that flies over. Fair enough. Well, either way, we're most certainly going to take more than the planned block fuel. Let's go. I'll tell you what. Let's go then with 7 tons, shall we? So fuel of 7. I haven't defueled the aircraft prior to loading in, so we'll just set that going. So there we are. Defueling, and we'll start getting set up. So the QNH here is 1018. We'll pop that in. Turn this up. 1018. Anti-skid is all set. And let's start getting some of those passengers on board as well, shall we? I can see, I thought the jetway was moving then. It's not, it's just the light from the warning light on the GPU is spinning around.
Cabin crew, we can open the doors now and start letting them on board. Thanks very much.
So we're on Unicom and the guard frequency is set. Let's just turn the transponder on. Everything else is where it should be. So, as I say, we're just checking that everything is still working exactly as it should be and as we expect it to. So with that all set, let's come up to the glare shield. 1017. Do they use QNH in South America? I don't know if it's QNH or inches of mercury. Flight directors. Oh, flight directors 1 and 2 are turned on. They're not normally turned on automatically. Okay. Don't think I've turned those on, but that's the sort of thing that needs reporting back. Just rather random presetting that they're on. Fair enough. Okay, let's come down, get the displays all turned up. ECAMs, refueling panel is open. Get those turned off. IRS alignment in around 1 minute. That's quite neat. It's not taking anywhere near as long here. We're close to the equator, so it's not taking anywhere near as long as it does when we're far up in the northern hemisphere, such as like here in the UK. So that's quite nice to see that that is rather realistic in the way that it's done that. Okay, so all systems are normal as well. Let's pull info in from SimBrief and check all this works. Init press, and that's set. 1 hour 24 minutes at flight time. AOC, performance weights and balance, ignore the fuel page. Right, let's cross-reference this and see if this is all correct. So what have we got? 168 passengers putting their lives in my hand with their lives in my hands. 17472 and 0 fuel weight of 58.5. That's all correct. So load that in. Check the gross weight. That looks okay. As we continue to defuel at the moment. Alright, that all set. And aircraft status, LEAP engines, valid direct cycle, init press. Let's get the uplink. Okay, so the alternate Sierra Bravo Golf Romeo, no idea where that is. Fly-by-wire test flight, cost index of 8, and cruise level is 390, where it's currently minus 52. Happy to leave that for the test flight. Let's check the tropo. We can just change that to 50,000 feet. God, that's high, isn't it? Higher than we can normally get over Europe. Okay, so that's now all done. Let's have a look at the flight plan. So we're departing runway 11 left, and that is on the SEMDU-1 Alpha. SEMDU-1 Alpha. Only one letter difference. Got to make sure you check the right one. That is a transition via Nimki. There it is. Nimki. And insert. Right, here's the fun bit then. So at the other end, it is going to be the RNAV Whiskey approach for runway 02 right. So let's find that. RNAV 02 right Whiskey. No, that can't be right. That's the shortest runway in the world. Dun, dun, dun. Is it 02 left? Hang on. Let's find that out, shall we? Oh, I know why. I know why. Ignore that. We're actually landing on... we're not landing on 02 right at all. We're actually landing in the opposite direction. So ignore this. Open that charts list. This isn't correct. It's going to be an arrival using the... It's still the Ugrad 2 Alpha, but then the approach is 20 left, and it's the is it that one just there? 20 left? No, it's not. It's 02. It's 02 right. Are we sure it's 02 right? I'm going to have to check out the... Oh, hang on a minute. This can't be right. This is the shortest runway in the world. We're landing at the wrong Rio de Janeiro. Okay, that's a slight pain. I'll tell you what. Which is the correct Rio de Janeiro? We've got the wrong airport listed here. I can fix this very quickly. So we need the correct airport. This is what happens when you fly in an area that you have absolutely no idea with regards to local knowledge. And just get the correct ICAO code for Rio de Janeiro. So at the moment that is Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet. That's Santos Dumont. That's not the one we want, is it? Is it the Galileo International Airport that we actually want, which is Sierra Bravo Golf Lima? So, Danny, that's the correct one for domestic. Yeah, but that runway length. What was that runway length again? We can't get in there, can we? 1,323 meters. I got no chance of stopping there. So the kind of aircraft that actually land here are... Oh, actually, the A319 comes in here. Ooh. Should we just run with it? See what happens. Oh, the 320neo comes. The 320neo does come in here. Ah, okay. Do you know what? We can stick with it. The 320neo does come in here. That just really freaked me out a little bit there. 1,300 meter runway. But as I can see, Azul Airlines do arrive with the A320neo from Brasilia. Actually, this particular route that we're doing. Okay, well, let's stick with it then. We could land on an HD, but we'd be landing weight restricted. Fair enough. Right, so it is the RNAV 02 right, and it is the Whiskey arrival, so we were correct. And that is via Gallet. Insert. Okay, now let's check this out. Let me just bring this in, set the flight plan, and we'll just scroll through this and see how we do. So there's the departure, that looks fine, and then the arrival is all good fun. There it is, actually. Yeah, that is that's spot on. I can't zoom in any more than that, but yeah, that's right. Probably a little easier to see on the VFR map if I just zoom out and go across and have a look here. So that from Gellet we're then in, across, and the RMP approach. We're going to have to use nav FPA. Down it comes, across, and then in we go, and wave to Christ the Redeemer as we come into land. Hopefully not too close to Christ the Redeemer, as in meeting him. Okay, so that's in, and that's all set. Danny, this is going to be a thing. It's going to be great. Kyle F, yes, you're quite correct. 737 and the A320 do land at that airport. In particular, this aircraft itself that flies this particular route. So, all good fun. Okay, RadNav page. We don't need anything in there. Let's just continue setting this up. And then trip wind is a tailwind of 20. Plan block fuel 5.2. We've got 7 in, so let's go ahead and confirm that. There we are. So takeoff weight of 65.3, and the alternate is 2.1 tons. Let's get that in there. And an extra 35 minutes of flying time. Okay, so our performance then for our takeoff. Transition altitude here is 7,000 feet. Do you know, I'm going to do a paranoia check now. I don't normally worry about this too much with airports that I know about. But how long is the runway here? Oh, 3.2 kilometers. No problems. No problems there. And transition altitude 7,000 feet. So thrust reduction, acceleration. Right, this is actually in the charts. This is a strange one, HD. The thrust reduction is only 800 feet above the aerodrome level, whereas then the acceleration is 6,500. You'll find that on the SID chart if you want to check that out, see if I'm interpreting it correctly. So the acceleration is still 3,000 feet as per normal for a noise abatement 1 departure, but yeah, thrust reduction is only 800 feet, which seems rather low, but I'll go with it. 4300 and then 65. There we go. Because the aerodrome elevation is about 2,500 feet. So there we go, and we want to set that as well. We're going to go flaps 1, and let's calculate the V-speeds. 137, 133, and 132. So let's then have a look at the let's have a look how we're going to fly the departure. So we're parked just here. We have to taxi out using the taxi route, so we do it all correctly. We'll taxi out, face east, enter via 6, and then up north west to Alpha, and then obviously fly the departure, and then off we go above 4,100 feet, right hand turn to Lviv, Semdu. Off we go. We have no initial climb apart from above 9,000 feet. Oh, but there's the noise abatement. There you go. Specific noise abatement procedure for maintain V2 plus 10 till 4,300, and then V2 plus 10 and V2 plus 20. I'm not seeing it written quite like that before. And then that's 3,000 feet above aerodrome level. So if 800 feet is a minimum, we could... Oh, I see, it's the minimum we could use. So standard SOP's definitely 1,000 minimum. Okay, I can edit. We can edit that. So in that case, we shall set that to... What did I say the aerodrome level was? Let's say it was about 2,500 feet. In which case, let's go 4500, just there. All set. That's the departure. Briefed. And sounds like our passengers are all on board. Right, refueling. Is that completed as well? I believe so. So let's get the refueling page closed down. And it's completed. No longer on the ECAM. Let's get the EPU started, and we'll get the fuel pumps as well. There we go. Oh, HD, quite right. It's only a nighttime restriction. Oh, well, they obviously want us to keep it nice and quiet, don't they, for nighttime operations? That would make sense. So then, if that's only a nighttime restriction, presumably you can do what you want the rest of the time. Normal noise abatement too. I tell you what, we'll just stick with it. We'll stick with that. Peter, I haven't set flex temp. No. We're just going to use a toga takeoff for this. I want to check as well what doors are still open at the moment. So let's close those doors. So I think self-loading cargo's got the doors closed. And the jetway can now move.
Hi Captain, all passengers are on board and doors have been closed. The drink cart is fully loaded and all liability forms have been signed. We're about ready to go. Good luck with the test flight and please get us back in one piece.
Great stuff, thank you very much.
APU available, and external power is now disconnected. So with that all set, let's run our before start
Cabin crew, we're about ready to push back, so if you please hold the door and cross check.
checklist to the line. Cockpit preparation is all set and complete. Actually, no, it's not. Let's set flight level 150 on there with no ATC to give us any other information. So now cockpit prep is all complete. We'll get the signs on. Check that we've got 3 nav green. Systems check is normal. So it is. We've got 3 nav green. Fuel quantity 7 tons. Checked, loaded and balanced. FMGS is coded in. Altimeter 1017. Make sure that that's still valid. Oh, it's changed. So 1018 while we've been on the ground. There we go. So with that done, we'll get ready to push back. Call the pushback tug. There we go with that. Do we have a tug? Yes, we do. Rocky Spock, good evening. No, that never happens. Ignore that. That's a flight simulator bug. So before start checklist below the line, we'll do that in a moment. So we're not on VATSIM or anything like that. Not for a test flight. Okay, let's do the before start checklist below the line. And windows and doors closed and armed. Ecam status is checked. Beacon is on. Mobile phone is on silent, and parking brake is on. Let's start the push. Welcome everybody on board. And if we just have a look around, because I don't know the airport, so we're going to push back. Facing. Oh, hang on a minute then. I'm not quite at the stand that I thought I was at. Ah, right, okay, so if we're just here, these taxi routes. Right, in that case, I'm going to cheat slightly. We're going to push back, we'll take Delta, Hotel, and Alpha. I thought we were further over here, so we'd have gone that way, but no, we'll go this way, which is against the rules, but we're on our own here in the sim, so that's fine. We'll push back, and then we'll taxi out over there. Actually, that's not quite true. We have live traffic on as well. So if we do see any real live traffic, I don't know how much is populated in the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator here in Brazil. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Okay, welcome on board, everyone. We're going to start pushing back and get those engines started.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and on behalf of the FlyByWire development team, I'd like to welcome you on board this FlyByWire test flight in the Airbus A320NX. Today, we're going to be testing out some new systems, so I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. A reminder that this version of the Airbus is not yet available for download. All of the new systems will shortly be merged into the developer build and the upcoming experimental version. For now, please listen to your cabin crew, get yourselves seated, seatbelts securely fastened, and as the ground crew finish loading the last of your luggage into the aircraft, we look forward to a safe, smooth departure, and we hope you enjoy your flight. Once again, on behalf of the FlyByWire team, thank you very much for choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to delivering you a safe journey.
Hello and welcome aboard. As we prepare for departure, we ask that you pay close attention to the following important information about this airplane. Your seatbelt should be fastened whenever the fasten seatbelt sign is illuminated. To fasten your seatbelt, your seatbelt.
So I think the tug drivers had some of my drink. He's disappeared, and we're just kind of taxiing under our own steam at the moment. I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Never mind. Danny, have you just watched a A320 landing on the live webcam? I didn't realise the airport had a live webcam. I'm going to have to check that out. Very late turn on to finals. Yeah, that's right. And it's no joke. Well, we don't want to mess that up, do we? But it's going to be fun. If nothing else, it's going to be fun. We'll either get it right or we'll end up in the... is it still the Atlantic Ocean? The Southern Atlantic Ocean? We'll see. Kid Panda, good evening. Hope you're well. GG, I do sometimes use the in-game version of Navigraph. The thing that just annoys me with it is you have to log in every single time. And then the charts don't always stay there. It has to load themselves back up. So I know it's a first draft. It'll get there, I'm sure. AJ, a UD mandated break for the tug. I do like these test flights. I can just relax a little bit with them. And we get to explore the world as well. I am looking forward to our approach into Rio. It does say on all of the charts, however, that it is absolutely a landing that you need to have had special training for. I most certainly have had none of that.
May also be inflated by blowing into the tubes at the sides. If traveling with a child, please refer to the safety information card. The evacuation slides in the front of the airplane and in the back of the
Wayne, so the flights to assess drag effects, etc. Can I give you a rundown of how it affects the aircraft? Yeah, of course I can. If I notice anything, the idea is you shouldn't actually notice too much. At least that's what we're hoping anyway. But we're going to have to want to get it right, because on the approach into Rio de Janeiro, it's going to be very interesting if we get it wrong. So I'm just waiting for engine number 1 to sort itself out. Sorry, engine number 2. And then once that's done, I think our pushback tug is more than clear. He's disappeared back there. He wasn't hanging around. I think he just pushed us and then hoped that inertia would take us the rest of the way. Right, engine number 2 is now sorted. What have we got? 29.8, the CG. Let's set up. So, parking brake is on, engine mode select, norm, APU bleed, APU off, ground control can come off as well, and spoilers, rudder, flaps 1, and what did I say it was, 29.8, correction, yeah, 29.8, so near as damn it 30. That'll do. Okay, after start checklist. Anti-ice is not required, and off. We're on live weather as well, by the way. Live weather and live time. Ecam status checked. Pitch trim 29.8. Rudder trim 0. Flight controls check. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full up. Full down. Neutral, and rudder, full right, rudder, full left. Okay, all looks good there. Pushback tug's clear. We know where we're taxiing. Get the taxi light on, and we'll release the parking brakes and start rolling. So dark, they've just made them a well, hopefully they've just made them a little bit more realistic and been taking references of the from the manual and what N1 percentage is required to maintain certain speeds and things like that. There's a full list which I can potentially pop onto the video description after we've done this, if you wish. Okay, so we've tested the flight controls and get the auto brake on as well. We'll ding that cabin, check TO config, do our PEDS check, 1018, 1018, engine out procedure, we'll come back and land here. The takeoff weight's below the maximum landing weight anyway, so that's okay. Departure matches exactly what we've got on the FMGC, and we've set our stop altitude at 15,000 feet. So before takeoff checklist, flight controls checked, departure briefing done as much as we can. Flap setting config 1, FMA takeoff data 132 blue, 137 magenta, climb nav blue, 15,000 blue, 1FD2 and a toga. Takeoff. Transponder set, Ecam memo, takeoff, no blue. Electronic flight bag is stowed.
Cabin crew, seat for takeoff, please.
So I am quite looking forward to seeing what the landscape here in the simulator looks like. in Brasilia and over Brazil in general. Runway 11 left, and we'll just hold here. As I say, we do have live traffic on, so I don't know if any aircraft are meant to be landing here. I don't know what the live real-world traffic is like here in Brazil. Check those brake temperatures, they're all good, so the takeoff line-up clearance looks okay to me. Oh, hang on. Ah. Where's that? Who's Glow 1859? I did turn the labels on just because I thought it'd be quite nice to see. Right, in that case, we can use the VFR map as well, and I think they should show. So, is there an aircraft on final? There is. Oh, we'll get out before he comes. No worries. Strobes, lights, takeoff, packs, and transponder, TCAS. Let's go. Before takeoff checklist, below the line, cabin secured for takeoff, engine mode select, norm, TCAS, TARA, packs off, and anti-ice is also off. We want to get out of here before that aircraft comes in, so let's do a rolling start, shall we? We can do a rolling start, it is permitted. So, take off, start the chrono, 50% M1, and set takeoff thrust. Mantoga, SRS. Side stick back to neutral. Nice long runway, isn't it, this?
100 knots. Check.
Hold that center line, V1, and rotate.
Positive right. 0.
And nav. Oh, go it out the way. And there's our right hand turn above 4,100 feet. And set climb thrust, thrust climb. Pack 1, autopilot 1, now engaged. Keeping that nose pitch up. Now we can get autopilot pack 2 on. And climb out looks good. So climb, nose should start to lower down, and we'll accelerate away. Chalty, good evening, hope you're well. So we've set standard pressure, 150 blue. Danny, it's almost 2.5 times as long as in Rio, yeah. Christo, flaps don't want to come up yet. No. We'll be in a bad place if we put the flaps up as soon as that. Now we've passed S speed. Now we can get the flaps up. So flap 0 and spoilers disarmed. Release the cabin crew. So that all worked. No daft things happening with increased drag or anything daft like that. And that's essentially what we're testing on the flight, making sure that all the flaps work exactly as they should. And it's going to be more noticeable when we're coming into Rio in about an hour's time. So now I want to get the lights off. Oh, the strobes, I've put them at auto again. I really need to slap myself when I do that. There we go. A live spec on Twitch. Good evening. Christian Starmer, the packs are back on, my friend. Don't worry, you're not going to run out of oxygen. So past 10,000 feet, and we've planned a level of 390. We're not able to get up to that yet, so let's go with 370. 370 set, 370 blue. Radnet page is empty, we don't need that.
Climb towards our cruising altitude today on this fly-by-wire test flight. Please take a moment to fill out the complimentary wall-making kit. You'll find this in the pocket of the seat in front of you. Once again, we thank you for being passengers on board this special test flight and promise you that the drinks trolley shall be around shortly. If you have any special requests for today's flight, please contact a member of our cabin crew. You may now also switch back on your electronic devices. However, a reminder that this is a test flight, and so you do so at your own risk. Thank you.
Stunning scenery down there, isn't it? Really nice to see. Okay, let's turn off the seatbelt signs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now turned off the seatbelt sign and you are now free to move around the cabin. We do recommend, however, when in your seat, that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times in case of unexpected turbulence. The toilets are now available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
Just looking at that fuel flow as well, about 3,000 kilograms an hour at the moment during this climb. J-Hog, have I changed my graphics settings? No, not that I'm aware of. Why? Does it look different? I think you guys probably notice it more than I do, as I'm doing it almost daily at the moment. Real Blocks Gaming XT, do I only like the A320? No, I like lots of aircraft, but the A320 is the one I've spent years, and certainly the last few months, really getting to grips with. So it's the one I like to do correctly. And good afternoon or evening to everyone on Facebook that's watching as well. So we're streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and of course on YouTube this evening. J-Hog, maybe you've just had your eyes tested. I've got new glasses. I tell you what I have done. I've increased the. We're now on Ethernet. We were on Wi-Fi. We're now on Ethernet, so I've increased the bandwidth, which means that we can stream in HD. So it may be that. And we're about to pass 20,000 feet. Wow, crop circles. Do 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 do. And of course they have to be there because it's satellite imagery. Who's found anything daft in the simulator? I'd love to see some stuff like that. Points of interest that really should not be points of interest. Like strange carvings in the grass and things like that. Yeah, HD has a totally different meaning on this channel, doesn't it? J-Hog, have you got the bike back out? You live in the worst place to go biking. I need to get mine back out. I broke the back chassis, so it needs a visit to Halfords. Michael Prince, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you are well. I'm aware it's suddenly getting very, very warm in this office. We shall have to check and see what the weather is doing in Rio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence serving our alcoholic drink service throughout the cabin. Please make sure your tray tables are in the downward position and clear any bags or items from the aisles. As this is a test flight, all alcoholic beverages are being served free of charge as a thank you for putting your lives in our hands today. Please note that the alcoholic drinks service is not available to under 18s. Soft drinks will instead be offered. Thank you.
So Scotia, we tend to rely on the computers, but then obviously you go through and you check to make sure that everything is matching up. Otherwise, because you need to know if you have a suspected fuel leak. So what is the weather doing at the moment in Rio de Janeiro? Well, it's okay at the moment. Visibility is good. Thank goodness for that. We need good visibility for this landing. May end up just being visual. Chico, so are you self-loading cargo for the passenger announcements? So 10,000 feet to go will be the top of our cruise. So for those of you that have only just joined, make sure you do stick around, because this landing, which I've never done before, I've not practiced, I've never landed here before, and it's going to be quite tough. So we begin at Tokim. We want to be below 230. Then at Getfu, Gympie and Rio 17, Urad, and then finally Gelet. From there, well, this is where the fun really begins, because from Gelet we then, the initial approach fix, come in and round. We have to be at 4,800 feet by 913, coming round and round, and is, where's the descent start? There's the initial fix, which is Rio 32. We want to be at 2,700 feet at this point. Then we start a steady descent at around 2.8, 2.9 degrees, and we'll be in nav FPA for this, coming round, down, 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 short left-hand turn onto final, and apparently, was it Danny who was saying there's a live webcam at the airport and you can actually watch the aircraft do this? I mean, that just sounds incredible. Can't wait to check. Can't wait to go and check that out. See if they do it as well as me. Yeah, right. So I also need to set standard pressure on there. I just thought the model list needs updating with Navigraph and the pushback add-ons. Yeah, I'm not sure how many messages that I can actually pop in there though, because it there is a limit. There is a character limit. Papa Crash, what flight level should you change the barrel pressure to standard? Right, okay, that's difficult throughout. It's different throughout the world. So in the USA, it's 18,000 feet. But if you're talking to air traffic control, if they give you a flight level to climb to, then you should be at standard pressure. If they're giving you an altitude, you should be at local pressure. But it does change throughout the world. So here in the UK, it's about 5,000 feet for most airfields, I think. Chelsea, good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Have you been sliding down slides? Captain 79, good evening. Maxed out, so that is a chart from Navigraph. That's our arrival chart that I will be glued to as we fly this approach. Air Troopers 37, you flew into Madrid today. Which runway? Coming from the south is not too bad. Coming from the north is quite tricky. DJ Smith, you've updated your 320 and converted all of the deliveries. Right, okay, so one of the things I would recommend is if, say, you've downloaded the Livery Mega Pack, which I know many people do, and that's great because it helps with AI traffic and obviously on VATSIM, model matching, etc. for those that fly on that. But I wouldn't convert them all to fly-by-wire liveries, purely because you're going to end up with them both. You're going to end up with a load of default A320 liveries and then a double of that, which then work with the fly-by-wire A320NX. So that is double the amount of information stored in your community folder. That's, well, in my book, that's double a chance of the simulator crashing. So I'd only convert the ones that I'm actually planning on flying myself. Maxed out, yeah, they do cost, I think it's something like €7.99 a month, $7.99 a month, something like that. Kyle F, they're are they landing on 20 left right now, are they? Oh, okay. Braden, would I know why your autopilot is not working? There are so many reasons why your autopilot could not be working. Although I am afraid to tell you, Braden, that if you are flying the developer version of the fly-by-wire A320NX mod, chances are, I'm afraid, it is user error. Nico, no news just yet, but as soon as it's available, we'll check it for you. So what are the winds doing in Rio? Oh, I don't want to have to change the approach just because I've been geared up to do this one. So what are the winds doing? 170 at 9. Oh, right, I can see why. Right, let's then have a look. 170 at 9. So they're going to be using, what's that? They're going to be using 20 left, is that, to land? Let's have a look and see what 20 left would be. Would that be... That's actually a much easier approach. Well, I say easy, it's still not easy. Right, so 20 left approach looks like this. We're still coming from Gellert, and then it's just a right-hand turn. We don't have to go all the way around and try it out. It's just what I call a straight-in approach rather than a circle to land. So, yeah. Oh, which approach should we do? We could obviously change it to match the real world, or we could have some fun. And I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I would not want to attempt it. It's a very short runway. Doing it with a tailwind? Yeah. That's bad karma. Danny Rubble, sir, thank you very, very much for your very kind donation. I'm glad you love the streams, my friend, and always good fun having you on board as well. Big thank you to those of you that have just recently subscribed on YouTube. Great to have you on board. Braden, if you fly the experimental, that's possibly why. So the experimental is undergoing a big change at the moment, and that is essentially one which you don't want to be messing around with because it's just been tested. The developer version is the one you want to fly at the moment, so if you want to stick with an aircraft that works, get yourself the dev version. Just though, if you've got toga lock, it just means that your aircraft is stuck in toga. Your toga is locked, and that's because you probably had alpha floor or something like that. So we're now just reached Mach alt star. The way to do that is make sure you put your thrust lever up to toga. You can then disengage auto thrust, or make sure that your speed is under control. You're not near stall speed. Lower the nose if you can, so you get that speed under control, and then you should be able to set it back up again. Danny, if the last 320 land on 20 left, we should probably do that. It's a short runway. Can you imagine doing it with a tailwind? I don't fancy it. Let's go ahead and change it. So it's going to be a 20 left arrival. What's the RNAV? Because they've all got different codes. It's the RNAV RMP Whiskey 20 left. Scroll down and find that. 20 left Whiskey. 20 left Whiskey. Still via Gellert and insert. And just pull the heading bug. We've changed it, so we know that sometimes the simulator does something daft. That's not an effect of this new feature that we're testing in the sim. That is just the simulator itself. Nothing to do with fly-by-wire. There we go, we're back on track. Ewan, you'd like me to do the circle to land? We'll have to come back and do it when the winds change. It does look like a good fun approach, but with a tailwind and not a lot of tarmac to get the aircraft down on. Yeah, that's something else I will warn all the viewers out straight away. Don't be expecting a butter landing. No chance. If I've got only 1,300 meters to play with, I'm getting the aircraft down. Kyle, I can understand why 20 left is more active now, and more active all of the time. It is a much simpler approach. Colin, your uncle's an A330 pilot, and said the streams are great. Oh, please pass on my my many thanks to your uncle, Colin. Good to have you. Good to have you with us. Right, so not yet at cruising altitude. Can we get up to fly level 390? The advantage of the higher altitude, I've just seen someone ask that, is it obviously saves fuel. The air is thinner, so it saves fuel. Thrust climb 390 blue. Up we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to serve a selection of food and snacks from the galley. Please ensure your tray tables are in the down position and that the aisles are kept clear. Due to the nature of this test flight, sick bags have also been provided for you in the pockets of the seats in front of you. Here, you'll also find a snack menu showing the food items that are on offer. Please keep any litter you may have, and our cabin crew will be around shortly afterwards to collect it. Thank you.
Peter James, no problem with the fly-by-wire custom. So the custom version is now the dev version. Yeah, it's great. A live respect on Twitch. No, because the air is thinner up at the higher altitudes, there is less friction, so of course you can actually travel faster and further. Clouds are starting to build as we head towards Rio, aren't they? It's Ducky. Has anyone had a problem trying to load the A320NX and it's invisible? Ouch, that doesn't sound good. Yep, it's going to be landing London City style. Well, you know, can someone just grab the runway length at London City? What is that? Is that about 1,200 meters? So it's not too far off. Gibraltar. Gibraltar's about 1,700 metres, so this is even shorter than that. And we're getting up to our cruising altitude now, so that's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit once again, just let you know we've reached our cruise level for the flight today. The cabin crew will be making their way around, serving drinks, hot coffee,
Mac Alt Star.
etc. So if we leave any aisles clear of items, we might just sit back and enjoy the rest
And
of the
Alt
flight.
Cruise. Lovely. Wow, that looks good, doesn't it? I do love flying at this time of day, just as the sun's starting to get low into the sky. The shadow effects on the clouds are tremendous. Danny, is London City longer? Oh, well, in that case, the difference will then be the fact that you've got a high rate of descent, a high descent, a higher descent angle. I think it's what, about 5 degrees, 5.5 degrees, something like that. Oh, hang on, I've got discrepancy now. J-Hog says it's 1,199 meters. Either way, the descent angle's much higher at London City. You've got buildings to avoid, and they don't like the noise, the residents. I guess if you're going to buy a house next to an airport, you kind of have to expect some noise. Dave Simpilot's actually got a very good point there. It's Ducky. Some liveries don't convert very well, so you could just have a dodgy livery in there. So in terms of planning this approach then, we want to be right on our game with this. Even though it's now slightly easier, there's no final circle turn to make. But as you can see there, special aircraft and aircrew authorization is required. Oh, HD, there's a quiz question. Normal approach path the 320 is normally approved to fly up to. I want to say 4.5 degrees. I will say 4.5 degrees. Eastwards, why are we testing drag at a high altitude landing? Won't it just be a high speed landing in thin air? Well, there's a few other people who've tested it at what I'd call more closer to sea level airports, so I thought we'd do something a little bit different as well. Right. Anyway, as I was saying, how are we doing this? So we want to be 7,000 feet at RJ017. Can we even pop that into the? Can we even pop that into the ProgDist bearing page? Let's have a quick look. So RJ 017. Ah, there it is. Wonderful. Kyle F, I will certainly be having a look at that. Once I finish this, I might even get in bed and watch that on the large screen up there. I'm sure that will really please the wife. So BDK, don't try and get your thrust lever to match toga in the sim. Set your thrust lever at toga, which is obviously going to be right at the very, very top, and then set the value on the flypad. Do it the other way around. You tell the flypad where you want toga to be. So we're going to need to lose, what, 22,000 feet? But I want to be on our game with this. So we can start our we'll start our descent at 32,000 feet. Sorry, we'll start our descent probably about 100 and probably about 110, 115 miles away. And then we'll be good to come down, and as we're on our descent we can match and follow these as well. Maximum speed 250 knots, that far out, that makes for a very, very long approach. We may just break that for a little bit. We'll definitely slow down by Getvu, below 10,000 feet. But one of the other things we need to be aware of is the altitude on the descent. So let's just have a quick look at the operational flight plan and see what we're going to be passing over as we get towards Tokim. Let's find that. Top of descent there, Tokim. Oh, actually, so they're not too bad. That's all right. Don't know what time the sun sets locally in Rio. What time is it now? It's 20:20 Zulu. Scotia, the airline captains get to pick and choose the fuel that they want in real life. In the RAF, what you were given on the OFP is what you got. Because you were burning the taxpayers' money. No, the captain has final say on how much fuel they want to take. They need a reason, so they can look at weather, plan for holds if they're going into busy airfields, airports, things like that, or if it's an extra long taxi, as we did today out of Madrid. So yeah, the airline captain can say, hang on, I want more than that. But it still has to be justified, otherwise I'm sure they get some questions asked. Andre, so the sun sets at 5:21 PM local time. What time is it then? At the moment. So, oh, sorry, it's 5:21 local time now. Is that right? Oh my God, no one's driving the plane. That looks neat, doesn't it? So much green down there. I've not trawled through the charts for this airfield, but I'm guessing it's the kind of airfield where nighttime landings, there's got to be some restrictions to that given the terrain that's around it. HD, the answer you give is it's your license. Well, no one can argue with that. So, about 120, 130 miles before we start our descent, which is great. We've got loads of time. If anyone has got any questions, this is the perfect kind of flight to be asking those. Dane Reed, so you're really struggling with the plane jumping to another waypoint on approach when coming in. You've watched one of the videos saying you must pull the heading bug. Can you explain a little bit more? Yes, certainly. So the chances are it's going to happen with this flight. It seems to happen with every flight, and it is it's a problem with Microsoft Flight Simulator and Azobo's coding, not a problem with Fly-by-Wire, which is why at the moment the Fly-by-Wire team are working on the flight management system, which will then become incorporated into the experimental version of the aircraft, which is why that is not currently being updated at the moment. So what happens is, as you quite rightly say, on approach, normally when passing the decel point or activating the approach phase, you'll see the aircraft suddenly bank, or even if it's particularly if the one of the final waypoints is further to the left, right of your current position, then you'll see top right hand corner, the waypoint that you were heading towards will suddenly change, the aircraft will veer off towards it, and you don't want it to, you want to get it back on course. So what I do in that situation, as soon as I see a problem like that, I pull the heading book, which I'll do now. If I pull the heading book, you'll see the aircraft continues just flying on the heading that it currently is. Basically, it gets my wings nice and level. All I will do then is I'll come down to the McDo, I'll hit direct, and I'll set it to go back to the waypoint that I wanted to be headed towards. So in this case, we were heading towards Nindi, so I could just pop that in. In fact, I could do that. And then hit direct, and the aircraft would then be put back into nav mode, headed towards the waypoint I wanted it to go. To go to. A slight bug then. You've got dashed green lines afterwards. Now, dashed green lines normally indicate that the aircraft is in heading mode, but obviously we're not. We're in nav mode, as we can see on the FMA up here. So, in order to counteract that, if you just pull the heading book and push it back in again, then we're back in nav mode, and we've got a nice solid green line. So GGP help, I think I've just half answered that. Don't use the experimental build at the moment. The experimental build is not being updated. JHug 2001, have a great evening. Enjoy golf with my father tomorrow. Make sure you wear your sunscreen. That's a great question. Someone's asked HD about why auto is there, because I've never understood why it's there. I don't understand what it's used for. Maybe it's, yeah, as HD says, the only thing I can think it could be used for is for the engineers. Maybe Cholty can answer that, if he's still around. Andre, you didn't know the sim brief gave you a top of descent calculation. It does, but I'll be honest, I don't usually look at it and use it. I don't know how accurate it is, to be fair. I've not tried it. So Mac and Jim, I can't pronounce that name on YouTube. I'm very sorry, but thank you very much, you guys, for subscribing. And Jack Cruiser Trading, thank you as well on Facebook for liking the stream. I never get tired of the graphics here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, who's that? And I left a nice beautiful contrail for us to follow. So we do have live traffic on as well. I think I mentioned that right at the start of the stream. And I just turned the name tags on, because then it's quite neat to get on Flight Radar 24 and see who they are and where they're going. HD, I don't even understand when auto would come on. How can an aircraft know when it's on a runway, when it's passing an active runway? I just don't get it. Afraid I don't know when the hold function is going to be implemented in the A320NX. Sorry. They're working as fast as they can, but I think what a lot of us forget and a lot of us need to remember is the fact that the Fly-by-Wire team are doing a great job, but they're all volunteers. None of them are getting paid for any of the stuff they do. And the project was launched as well when we were really at the height of the global pandemic. Everyone was pretty much furloughed, they were off work, no one had anything to do, and slowly as the world's opening back up, they're all going back to work to do their day jobs, and they must. They've got to put bread on the table. So it's just going to be done as quickly as it can. Ah, HD. Oh, right. Well, in that case, I didn't know that. The strobes come on when the wheels lift off. Well, that's no blooming good when you're turning onto an active runway, is it? Yep, they just sneak out with a 320 at night just for testing. Dane Reed, no, don't delete any waypoints in any of the flight plan when it comes to stars and SIDS. Just go direct to the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this test flight for FlyByWire, we are pleased to be able to offer you exclusive tax-free savings on all your purchases today. You may wish to consider upgrading your service to becoming a channel member and benefit from the extra perks that are available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew for more details. Please remember that this version of the Airbus A320neo is not yet available for downloading. Thank you.
So stunning views from a passenger point of view. And for me, the red clouds that we're about to see as the sun starts to drop down, they just don't last long enough. And I know they don't last long in real life, so they've got it exactly right, but I just think they look stunning. It'd be nice if you could just pause time. So what are we doing? We're 30 miles from IFTEC, 40 minutes in. Should be there in about 4 minutes, so 44 minutes IFTEC. Just check the fuel burn. Let's see. There we go, 46 minutes, so that's pretty good. And let's check the fuel as well. So what do we currently have on board? So we're going to have around I'm kind of guesstimating a little bit here because we're still 26 miles away, but we've got, let's call it 4.3 tons of fuel on board. At IFTEC we should have 3.7, so that's an extra 0.6 tons, and that is alright. Well, that's kind of what we took. We took 7 tons, so I took right, okay, so I took 600 kilogram extra. Looks like we've burnt about 200 kilograms extra in the climb, but that's alright. Dane, can I talk you through how to program an outbound from a VOR on takeoff? You were taken off from Amsterdam the other day on 36 Centre, and there's no SID, so ATC said fly outbound from the Amsterdam VOR. Okay, that's strange. Were you in the A320? I'm pretty certain this SID's from that runway. In fact, I think I've departed from it. How are we doing with our distance to... oh, there we go, 170 miles away from Rio 17. HD, no, you can't program waypoints just yet. Well, at least I don't think you can. No, I don't think you can. something else that I'm sure will be added over the coming months. So let's start looking at this approach and just getting it right in our heads. So we're now going to be landing on runway 20 left. It's the Urgrad 2 Alpha star, and then let's get a few more things sorted. Transition altitude is 7,000 feet. The descent altitude when we start our descent is 2,500 feet. Minimum safe altitude from Gillett is, as we're tracking that, is going to be flight level 095 to the north and 5,000 feet to the south. And we need 1,600 meters of visibility. Decision altitude will be 306. So Dane, you wouldn't be able to type that in on the McDo. All you would do is you could type in the Amsterdam VOR. I'll just go and do that for you in a second. I'll show you. So no ILS. Landing elevation is 10 feet, and missed approach is, there's a random figure, 5,500 feet. 5500. Yeah, that's right. There's going to be a solar eclipse tomorrow. Get up to Greenland, I think, if people want to try and see that in the sim. I certainly can't go there in real life. So yeah, what you would have to do then, Dane, is on the RadNav page, you type in AMS, which is the Amsterdam VOR. I'm going to guess it would be that one, 11395. And then I'm hoping they would have said which given you a course or track a specific radial. You'd then have to type that in there, and then you'd be able to track that on the VOR rows page. But a bit difficult to show you without that without that actually there. It's starting to get dark in here, isn't it? Shall we get some lights up? We'll send off for some weather as well before we start the descent. Let's just clear that out. Talia is supposed to be visible there in Toronto around 5 AM. 5 AM? Is the sun up at 5 AM? Actually, I suppose it is in Toronto at this time of year, isn't it? Michael, do we know if the sim simulates solar eclipses? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Andre, so an RNAV approach is just a series of waypoints with increasing constraints until you're more or less facing a runway heading. Well, yeah, I suppose we could say that. It uses fixed GPS waypoints rather than an actual physical beacon like an ILS does, giving you a beam out, and coded into the navigation computer database of the aircraft. If you're using final approach mode, which we can't in this aircraft, it doesn't work yet, it would it should automatically take you down at a nice steady descent angle of 2.9 degrees, starting here at 2,500 at Rio 72, and then it would make sure at 7.3 you were at 1,764, at 904, 949, 906, 357, until it gets you close enough then to be able to knock the autopilot off and then make a landing. Right, let's have a look at that. Weather information should now be here, shouldn't it? We'll get that put in. And in about 15 miles, we'll start heading down. Oops, wrong one. So, next phase, Q&H then. Very, very important you get the right Q&H when doing an RNP approach, RNAV approach. 1016. Temperature 24, wind 1808. Transition altitude 7,000 feet. And the barrel is 306. Right, guys, let's go down. HT, no, technically I can't do this approach. Final approach is needed. Ah, what the heck.
Ladies and gentlemen, flight deck once again. We're delighted to know that we almost finished completing all of our checks and tests up here, and we'll shortly be starting our descent to our destination. At which point, cabin crew will start to prepare for our arrival.
Okay, thrust idle,
Please make
open
sure
descent.
the alarms are clear and
070 blue.
as they start making their way around the aircraft, it will be most appreciated. Thank you, and we'll have an update for you shortly.
Oh, this looks beautiful, doesn't it? I hope I have a little bit of sunlight when landing. So the plan is, once we have passed Gellert, we want to be 4,000. Well, let's just go back. At Gellert, we want to be at 6,000 feet. The next one is 931. We want to be at 4,800 feet. That is mandatory. At 031, at 3,500 feet, and then at 72 we want to be at 2,500 feet, and we want to pull the FPA to 2.9 degrees at 0.3 DME from that waypoint. Nabil Vlogs, you haven't seen a sim video in a while. You sold your PC to get into crypto. How's that working for you? Genuinely interested, actually. Not that I can afford to do anything daft like that. And Nabil, thank you very, very much, sir, for your $2.99 donation. And he says loves the content as always. Well, stick with us, Nabil. You might love this approach for one reason or another in in a few minutes' time. But thank you very much. It's very kind of you. So we're now on our way down. And we'll just keep an eye on our descent. And make sure that we're on target to meet 7,000 feet at RJ017. We also then want to maintain that for 10 miles as well, which is quite neat because that then gives us a chance to slow down. We want to be nicely configured for this approach as well. We don't want to be messing around getting flaps out just as we're turning on that final, turning onto finals. So then yeah, I want to be, if I just bring that chart back up, we want to have at least, I would say, how far is that away? Oh right, it was, oh, gear down flaps 3, gear down flaps 3 before getting to this this point just there. Bacon, hello, hope you're well. So we're well below profile at the moment. Just slow that descent rate a little bit. But that's okay. I don't mind that. In the real world there is a speed constriction of 250 knots, quite far out. So the fact we're only 260 at the moment is fine. And just start to see some lights as well in the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence serving our alcoholic drink service throughout the cabin. Please make sure your tray tables are in the downward position and clear any bags or items from the aisles. As this is a test flight, all alcoholic beverages are being served free of charge as a thank you for putting your lives in our hands today. Please note that the alcoholic drinks service is not available to under 18s. Soft drinks will instead be offered. Thank you.
Certainly is getting dark quick. Mind you, it's close to the equator, isn't it? So the sun just drops like a stone. Danny, yeah, generally the wind speeds are normally pretty spot on, aren't they? So we know SimBrief gets it right from its real world data, and the simulator does a cracking job. Okay, other things then to get ready for this arrival. So we've got the weather and the landing information. FMGC is coded in. One thing I am going to check is just how well coded in that is. So I had a quick look, but this is kind of like a paranoia check. So we've got Gellert, then RJ931. Next should be 031, which it is. Next is 7273. 904, and then they're the final tracks to the runway, at which point we should hopefully be visual by then. So we're just passing Tokim in a moment, and we should actually be below flight level 230 by this point. So we're probably about actually we're not too bad. Danny, I'd be nervous, mate, if I was doing one of the real op flights where I'm trying to do things correctly. This is a little bit, the pressure's off. The pressure's off. Eastbird says sun doesn't actually drop, it revolves around the Earth. Oh, no. Right, okay, didn't expect to do that quite as early as that. I was ready for it, but not just yet. So, can we go back to where we were heading? Which, I've actually lost quite a few waypoints en route, just there. So, we'll do. What have I got? We've got Getfu. Which one do I want? Gellert. Oh, well that's annoying. Right, okay. Looks like we're just going to have to go direct to Gellert then. Half the flight plan's just disappeared. That's a pain. Oh, and I've also lost... I've also lost my distance as well. That's nice, isn't it? Is this going direct to Gellert? Where's it going? Oh, there we go. It's now picked it back up again. Right, well, in that case... if we're going direct to Gellert, we can still aim for 7,000 feet. That's okay. Once we get a bit closer, then we need to be headed for 6,000 feet. Do you know what? I'm not convinced it's headed to Gellert. That is not headed to Gellert, is it? Let's try again. Is it going to do it? I don't think it is, you know, is it? Oh, what a pain. I cannot wait until the FlyByWire guys have got their flight management system sorted. Right, so we've got crosswind coming in from the right, pushing us left. We're just going to sort of eyeball this a little bit. We actually want to come in, as we're looking at it, we want to come to the right of Gellert at a waypoint Ugrad, which has just completely disappeared off my radar. I'm now going to pop that in here, actually. So let's put UGRAD in there. See how far we are away. 55 miles away. We want to be 7,000 feet once we get there. So 10,000 feet to go. 55 miles away. Let's just slow down that descent a little bit. Actually, we could probably use VS. Although if we're sticking with the charts explicitly, then we should be at 250 knots about now anyway. So that's okay. We're on a heading of 184 and we're tracking a heading of around 180, so that's okay. Slow that rate of descent down a little bit. 900 feet per minute now. Speed still 7,000 or flight level 070 set. Andre, you wonder why Zobo haven't fixed such a fundamental issue. It is annoying, and I'd already briefed it with you guys that it could happen and what to do when it did happen. I just did not expect it, one, to do it as far out as it just did, and then two, to take all of the waypoints with it. Man, it's got dark. I expected a daytime stream this evening. Called that wrong, didn't I? So what's concerning me at the moment is it's not flying direct to Gellert. I really hope I don't have to use track FPA, because I most certainly couldn't do that. It would just be more or less hand flown. I would hand fly it, which is absolutely not allowed. But if it's not working, I will hand fly over the waypoints and respect the FPA.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, you may not expecting any further delays or traffic in front of us in the next few minutes, so can you assist the cabin crew by tidying your trays, handing them back, and putting it in the bags provided. For safety reasons, please turn off all electronic devices and switch them to airplane mode until we have landed. Please also note that the extra toilets will shortly go out of use. Thank you.
Bacon 325. I don't mind the workarounds when the workarounds work. At the moment, the workaround isn't even working, so I'm screwed. I just wanted it to get us going direct to Gellet, but that wasn't working either. Never mind. We want to come in, as I say, about what is it? Let me just check that chart again. It's about 11 miles to the about 11 miles to the right of Gellet as we're looking at it. So we're probably not that far away actually. And I need that distance to help slow us down and obviously avoid terrain, help slow us down, and do the approach. Anti-ice is not going to be required for this. And we've got the terrain radar on as well. Richard, you could go direct to the airport, it deletes the whole flight plan, and then into the approach again. It will fix the problem, you'll get Gellet back. Well, Gellet hasn't disappeared. Gellet is there, it just doesn't want to take me to it, which is annoying. If I can't go to the Gellet, I'll go to the waypoint after it, and that's okay. Tell you, avoiding terrain is overrated. How far away are we now? I'm kind of reading the charts and eyeballing the terrain because we're not technically on the route anymore. So minimum off route altitude is 11,500 feet, but I think I'm going to have to go lower than that. Spielberg, how's she dragging? She's dragging fine, but then we've not got any gear or flaps out just yet. That's going to be fun as well. I forgot about that. Let's hope what we're testing when we get the flaps and gear out doesn't throw in any more surprises. What I could do, without actually deleting the entire flight plan, could I try just to reinsert it? Which one are we doing? The RMP 20 left whiskey. Let's just see what happens. RMP 20 left whiskey. Let's put the star back in, which is the Ugrad 2 Alpha. Ugrad 2 Alpha via Gellet. And it is showing there. Let's see. Let's insert. Let's come back up because the aircraft may turn in a moment. Oh, all the waypoints have come back. But there's actually no line between them. Right, in that case, can I go direct to Gympie? So that's nav. That's taking me to Gympie. No, it's still deleted the waypoints between Gympie and Gellet, look. So it's now giving me a hard right bank to Gympie, and then it's going to give me a hard left bank in a moment, isn't it, to get me towards Gellet. Okay, fair enough. There isn't any terrain on the charts between Gympie and Gellet, so I can live with that. Oh Christ, where's it taking me now? It's not taking me to Gellet again. It's just insert that. Will you work? Nav Gellet. Okay. Let's hope that works. We're at 10,000 feet. We need to get the seatbelt signs on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. If you could please return to your seats and ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. If you are traveling with an infant, please ensure that they are secured safely.
Dot Wallop, good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Oh, good God, and we've got thunder. So we've got an RMP approach, which I'm technically not allowed to fly. Nav isn't working. It's jumping from waypoint to waypoint. I'm at an airfield I've never landed at before. And it's not a straightforward approach. And now we've got thunder thrown in just for good measure. And yeah, HD. we definitely want auto brakes for this. Okay, so we're now going to set 6,000, which means we'll go local pressure 1016. Let's get those brakes set. Auto brakes medium. Down we go. And then we're going to start slowing down as well. HD, that's a great question. We've obviously got lots of terrain around this airport. Would you have terrain on one and the weather on the other? And yes, TCAS is set to below. So if I just have a quick look at that weather radar, we'll do a quick sweep. Actually, it's not showing any rain. That's well, that's good. AJ, do we? We're probably going to die. Thank God it's a sim. Right, is it actually going to get me back on track towards Gellet? It's sort of half thinking about it, isn't it? I'd like Kit to think about it a little bit more aggressively than that. One last try. Come on, Gellet. Speed Alt Star 6,000 feet. Nav Gellet. Oh, you're just plain silly beggars. Okay, well, in that case, we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this in nav in heading mode for the time being. So we're on heading mode. I'm gonna start slowing us down. Have we passed the diesel point yet? Right, activate the approach phase. We're still on managed speed. Sorry, we're still on selected speed for the time being. That's okay, but I want to start slowing down and configuring so we can get down as well. After passing Gellet, we then need to get down to 4,800 feet.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing.
So once we pass Gellet, we want to start getting down. We have got 4.6 miles to get down to 4,800 feet. So given this approach, let's start configuring nice and early. Flaps 1. I'm going to see if I can go direct in a second to 931. See if that works.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be relieved to know we are about to land. Please make sure you are seated with your belts fastened and your trays in the upright position. Please turn off all electronic devices until after landing. Thank you.
Okay, so we're now on to Rio 931. We want to be 4,800 feet by there. After that it's 3,500 feet. I have set the replay going for if anyone wants to witness the carnage afterwards. Just pop that back into nav mode. There we go. And we'll get flaps 2 out as well in a moment. And they do call for very, very slow approaches on this. I can see on the charts before the turn it's got to be 140 knots maximum. So yeah, we'll be fully configured before then.
2,500.
Where's it going? Right, it wants to go to 31. Yeah, I think that was actually doing it. It was just having a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Right, down to 3,500. Oh, lightning. Flaps 2. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Come on, let's get her down. A little bit of speed brake. Get us down to F speed. Then we can start that descent. Then we need to get down to 2,500. In fact, I'm going to set that now, 2,500. 2,500 blue. I need to see this waypoint ideally on the top right of the navigation display so I can set the track FPA. That's it. Down we go. HD is like your golf game. So the airfield is behind this blanket of cloud at the moment. Sergey, quite right, autopilot's always been a bit of a pain, but today it's been very weird. There we go, that's 3,500 feet. That's grand. I need to see it flick over now to RJ072 in a second. Ooh, I can hear that thunder rumbling away. There we go, 072, and then about 0.3 miles from there we're going to set a descent rate of 2.9, isn't it? 2.9.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for landing.
So kind of a little shallower than normal, so that's okay. Speed alt star, 2,500 feet, 2.4 miles, 2.3 miles now
2,500.
to go. And the airfield is just behind this this terrain over there. Should probably have got the landing lights on by now, shouldn't we? Okay, gear down. And let's set 2.9. Down we go. And missed approach, God help us, is 5,500 set. So now let's cross-reference our altitude with these these points. So the next one's 7.3, we should be at about 1,700 feet. Let's ding the cabin whilst we're there. What an epic approach this has been, with a bit of lightning just for added drama. Ah, now, is that the bridge that I've been reading on the charts? Can't really see it in the daytime. Right, so we're a little bit below. Let's reduce that rate of descent. Now the next one, 904, we should be at 949. Flaps 3. Followed by flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin secured. Auto thrust. Speed. Go around altitude 5,500 feet. Set. Eco memo. Landing no blue. And there's the runway. Okay, 1,000 feet. Autopilot off. I have control. Just trying to keep an eye, obviously, on the altitude and, of course, the runway itself. Pappies aren't looking too bad. There's 2 runways as well, remember, don't forget that. We want the left-hand runway. Which is considerably wider, now we can see that. Keep bringing her around as we just lost that centre line a little bit. And now let's get her back lined up.
300. 200.
Oh, there's a reason pilots have to train for this approach.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
And reversers are on. Spoilers are deployed. Auto brake max. And 70 knots. Reversers off. Oh, we made it! Obviously, not the greatest landing in the world, but
Please remain seated
I shall take that.
arrives at the gate and the seatbelt signs have been turned off. You are reminded to keep all electronic devices switched off until you have entered the airport terminal. If you enjoyed your flight, you can now join the channel as a member and receive extra perks to make your future flights with us more enjoyable. Once again, a reminder that this is a test version of the Airbus A320 and not yet available for download. Please join us in a round of applause for the wonderful FlyByWire developers. Thank you.
Okay, right, well I've just wiped the sweat from my brow, and we do have a replay of that as well. So we shall we'll check that out in a moment. I'm just going to dump this aircraft anywhere. It's someone else's turn to park it. And yeah, I can hear the thunder rumbling away. What a fantastic streak of lightning that we got across the screen a moment ago. And I have left the taxi lights on because I have no idea where I'm going. Never mind. Oh, there we go. Right, let's see if we can watch a replay of that, shall we? Leave the engines running. Just stop that replay recording. There we go. Okay guys, well if you did enjoy that, please do me a favour, hit the like button on the stream. It makes a massive difference to the YouTube rankings. So that was great, and the added bonus of the lightning as we came in, well that was just great, wasn't it? Okay, so I just need to find out where on earth that that replay has been loaded. So just bear with me 1 second. Program file, sim market. There we go. Let's see if we can find that then. So just load that. And I am anxious to see this replay. So let's get that loaded, and hopefully it will play back without too many issues. Was that the landing rate? 294. Spot on. Very happy with that. And given the fact that it's such a short runway, I don't want to be touching, I don't want to be buttering any bread on that one. A bit like Gibraltar. Get it down, make sure you stop. The aircraft is going to need a lot more hangar maintenance if you roll off the end of the runway. Just realised the self-loading passengers are about to scream in a moment if I don't get rid of that. So let's hit ready to fly. Off it goes, and play. If I just quickly zip that forward, we'll zip forward to the good bit, shall we?
2,500.
And it looks like, because this plays back in real time, it looks like there's an aircraft on final, which is great. Tell you what I will do. Oh, I don't know why I can't do this. For some reason, it won't let me change the weather, so it's now going to play this back in nighttime mode. That's quite annoying, isn't it? I'd love to be able to add some daylight. I don't know why now when using this replay mod. The replay mod is certainly not what it used to be. It used to be fantastic, but since the update it's messed it around a little bit. I can't even turn the weather on the toolbar, which is a pain. But if we zip forward, there's the night lights of Rio de Janeiro beneath us. So Andreas H, any more test flights coming up? Oh, I'm sure there are. Make sure you do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. That way you'll be sure not to miss any of those. Poseidon 63, the experimental version is not. It's basically not currently in use. It's not being updated for a long time until they get the until they get it sorted with the what do you call it, the flight management system all being set. Colin Davis on Facebook, good evening. So Sim Travel, the developer version, is the one that you want. It works absolutely beautifully. So I would love to have seen this in daylight hours, but again, unfortunately, I can't change the weather. That's really annoying. I've tried uninstalling this and reinstalling this. I have no idea why it doesn't seem to work. Unless I've got an out-of-date edition of it, I might have to look into that. Chalty, if you don't have a sense of humour, don't fly the Airbus. I don't know. Oh, that was kind of fun, that landing. There were moments where I thought, oh, good lord, what am I doing? But I'll take that. As I say, it was the first time I've seen or done this approach here in the sim, and I'm quite happy with how it ended up. It could have been a lot worse. Don't suppose anyone in the chat actually lives in Rio at the moment. Is it thundering?
Too low, terrain.
Oh, ignore the warning.
Too low, terrain.
I needed to turn that off.
Too low, terrain.
There we go.
300. 200.
The fact that when we were coming into landing we got the massive shriek of lightning across the sky, well, that just about summed up the approach, didn't it? But in other news, the batteries didn't run out in my wireless mouse, so that was good.
30. 20. Retard. 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 Retard.
And there we go, down in Rio. Oh well, as a test flight goes, the flaps worked just as expected. There wasn't anything daft happening with regards to the flaps, and that's essentially what we were testing this evening. We wanted to make sure that nothing daft was happening, and that the aircraft didn't have massive amounts of increased drag or anything like that. Which of course it didn't. All worked out beautifully. So I can go back to FlyByWire and tell them that was great. Thank you so much, guys, for your company this evening whilst doing that flight. It was great, and I hopefully entertained you with an approach. I can highly recommend doing the approach, but make sure you brief everything, particularly as you have seen the aircraft charts don't always like to be followed, do they? But yeah, what an approach. I wish I could put this to daytime. This looks really neat. And well, maybe we'll look at doing this as a long-haul flight one day. One of our Mileage Monday flights could be interesting coming here. I know there's usually a few of you fly with me on those, so we can all have a good go at that. But it looks great. Sadly, with the other approach that we were planning on doing tonight, and the winds changed, so we didn't get to do the circle land, which would have had us coming around over here and then coming back around on a circle to land. Would have seen the Christ the Redeemer just then, I believe. But I'm quite happy with that. First time at this airport. I'm glad we did this landing and not the other one. So I'm going to let this play out. Thank you very much for watching, guys. A big thank you to those of you that have donated and contributed to the stream. Really do appreciate it. You guys really do make this so much fun, and I love being able to devote time to the sim for you. I look forward to seeing you all on the next stream. It will not be tomorrow. It will be on Friday evening. Good night, everyone, and have a great Thursday. Bye bye.